So, Nigel,
Dan.
welcome back. Welcome to the Dan Bradbury podcast.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
So, Nigel, for bigger context, you in our community, you spoke a few years ago because you did you achieved most entrepreneurs' wildest dream, right? You built a business that then struggled, was on the brink, brought it back from the brink, and then scaled it up and had a wonderful exit from Rant and Rave in 2018, I think. Yes. It was. But since that time, you've gone on to build this place, doing a whole bunch of things. So, for a bit of context, for those that don't know, what are you up to these days?
What am I up? Thanks, Dan. Well, we've built Mill Street, and within Mill Street, there's Make Good Grow. So we've got a few brands that operate out of Mill Street, but basically, Mill Street's a shared workspace, but it's community fueled shared workspace. So we have lots of different programs and workshops and activities that are around helping people at an individual level have fun, help them with their business, and help them do good things as well. So we have 4 pillars within Mill Street, and that occupies most of my time, to be fair.
I love it, and I think that I think a lot of entrepreneurs, they see these success stories, and then people get the dream, the big exit. And then, what was your experience? So, what happens after that? So, I think a lot of people kind of fantasize of, I'll retire to a desert island, and then I'll be done.
Yeah.
What was for you? So, after the payday, as it were,
yeah.
Was it? Did you think you were going to retire? Was that never the plan? Was it? What was the build up for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I had the benefit of having a non-exec director called Simon Hook, who'd been through a similar experience of an exit and then a period where you go on sabbatical and work out what the next phase of your life's all about. And he had really guided me and advised me not to just retire to the golf course. He, knowing me and what I was about, he didn't think that would work for me at all. And I think on reflection, I probably didn't have enough downtime, if I'm honest. We had a couple of holidays, but we didn't then. We got straight back into Mill Street on the basis of, I need other things to engage me and drive forward. And Make Good Grow is very much sort of a philanthropic thrust. I felt I'd been very lucky, and I wanted to do some things that were orientated around giving back and paying things forward. And I think to a degree, Mill Street's also the same thing, social enterprise in its makeup. But if I could go back, I would probably buy myself a little bit more time just to chill, say 6 months. I think that would be the ideal. But his advice was just don't rest on your laurels too much. It will drive you mad.
Well, I think, I don't know if this is your experience, but mine, for clarity, I'm not trying to compete, your level of exit was significantly in advance of mine, but I found that after I took the money off the table, paid off the mortgage, so I felt secure, I'm going to describe it as that, I've actually worked harder. I had a lot of people tell me that they actually work harder when they no longer need to work for their money. Is that your experience?
Yeah, it is. And I think that people typically, I suppose, all of us entrepreneurs are driven by a number of things, one of which is financial stability and independence, but we're driven by things that I guess the stimulation is that you get up every day, you've got a growth mindset, you want to be a better version of yourself, you want to make sure that you're delivering some sort of value, that there's meaning and fulfillment, and all those sorts of things come in different shapes and sizes. So I think people built that way typically don't tend to retire just to the golf course. They'll probably have other things they're involved in, and if they have retired to the golf course, they probably want to be a scratch golfer.
Very true. I'm not a big golfer, and certainly not a very good one, but I believe, Nigel, that there's the 3 kind of key things that I'll talk about with clients is 3 things you can do with money. So you come into a significant capital, it gives you options. Well, really, the categories are, you can either reinvest, do something that's more fun, do something that's more, I say more fun, like a different business venture is often how that goes, make the capital grow quicker.
Yeah.
You can have a nicer lifestyle, and there's nothing wrong with that. Again, the event that you're talking about, I don't think it's noble to be oh, look at me, I'm bootstrapping and I've got to choose which days of the week I put my electricity or heating on. I think enjoying the benefits, fruits of your labour. And the third one is giving back. And and I know for you, and my experience is, most people, especially when they reach, by most people's standards, significant wealth or financial freedom, I'll say, is that giving back becomes a kind of a dominant thing. So what does giving back mean to you, and how does that relate to Make Good Grow?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question, because I think to a degree 5 years from the event, I'm still trying to get the right balance to your life, of the right amount of stimulation and paying it forward, passing things on, whether that's your experience as an entrepreneur to the entrepreneurial community, or whether it's more around the philanthropic work of Make Good Grow, where we're matchmaking. We've got a matchmaking platform basically that matches up skills and resources from businesses that put their hand up and say, hey, we can help, and causes that need help. All of them have got inside of them, I guess, a selfish element of, you actually feel like you're doing some good and making your small impression on the world in a positive way. But we've got a really lovely house in Spain as well. So getting the right balance of not feeling too guilty about actually, you're enjoying the fruits of your labour as well, and getting the right balance of downtime and enjoyment and family, putting your financial affairs into order so they're not. Life can become complicated with a number of, if you don't simplify your financial affairs, and then when you are engaged in, let's say, work activity, that it's the sort of thing that you've chosen to do because you enjoy it and not because I have to do it. I think that's the big difference. I think when you're trying to pay the mortgage off, which you've all been there, sometimes you just have to suck it up, don't you? But nowadays, thank goodness, I can actually choose the things I want to get involved in.
Yeah, I love that. And I've got two routes I want to go down, but I think I've got time to touch on both. How did you splurge? So when the money landed? So tell me what that experience was like. So obviously it's a really big build up, isn't it? Kind of like the due diligence process. All that can be brutal and intense. And then on the kind of closing day, what did it feel like? What was your experience, or yours and your wife's experience, like when the check hit the bank? So to speak?
Well, it was a total roller coaster of emotions. I think we got signed at something like 5 a.m.
Right.
So the people signing in the States were supposed to be in the office, and then we heard, well, the chief exec's left for the day. And where's he gone? He's gone to the golf course. Well, get him back, else this doesn't get done tonight. And it really was an ultimatum, our lawyer to their lawyer, like, sorry, we were told it's going to get done, so we need to get him back. And he literally came back off the golf course, signed, and there was a glitch. There were a couple of glitches through the night where we had to get somebody out of bed because there was a problem with a warranty condition and all this sort of stuff that you think it's not going to happen. Senior team was sat outside ready to celebrate. Desi and I were in a room. And when we signed, it was just elation, the team. We got the champagne out, and for an hour or so there, we just had the most amazing time. Then we went home and we didn't want to go to bed. So we waited for the local coffee shop to open up and went for a greasy English breakfast there and sat there fairly numb, a bit sort of not feeling anything really, just like, we did it, and what does it mean? And then somebody said to me, well, it should mean a lot, but equally it's just an asset going from different asset class. It was it was on the balance sheet, and it's now all just, it's all cash. So, don't get too carried away almost. And it was only, I think, the next night when we had the senior team got together and had a wild party. We had a party that beats all parties. And then the next night, my parents got wind of it, and they just couldn't believe it because I didn't really share with them. I said, transaction might be going through, and they didn't really know much about it, the level of it. So they were blown away, and we had a really nice moment and dinner with them at the weekend. And then there was a hollow thing where I got taken off all the emails and the different systems of communication with the team. And that was a really weird thing, because I just got a few really nice emotional messages from the guys, from people I'd worked with. And it hit me because I hadn't really, the emotions hadn't got to me. But they got to me, just sat there, and I've got 30 minutes before I'm giving up my, everything. And I'd been in it 20 years. So it was a really weird feeling, and a very hollow feeling, and a very sort of, I reached a sort of almost a low moment within the high.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And did you have a plan? Had you thought beyond? Had you given much time to what you would do next? I know you mentioned the conversation with Simon and not taking too much time off. But did you already have a plan for what was next, or
No.
is that what you spent the time doing?
No, I had this notion of Make Good Grow and doing this connection platform and using a digital product as a bit of a connection, and that was sort of we were working on it, but we were working on it, in a huge manner, and then the deal happened in October. And in November, Desi and my wife and I were walking around the park opposite here, Mill Street, and went, God, that's a lovely building. We really like that building. There's a sign up. It was for sale, but it's not for sale anymore. Well, there's a planning notice, and found out that planning had fallen through. Phoned the estate agent the next day, just out of curiosity about what was going on with the building. They said it came back on the market this morning. And the estate agent very haughtily sort of said, but we don't want any time wasters in here, so, tell me what your situation is. And I'm like, well, we could buy it. Okay, I can show you around straight away. And we literally saw it that afternoon and put an offer in the next morning, and half knew what we wanted to do with it, but not 100%. We knew it. We liked the idea of a shared workspace. We'd talked about shared workspaces in San Diego and all over, and thought that a town like Leamington would benefit from it, from a community side of coming together and working together. And you could argue it was a little bit of a knee-jerk reaction, to be perfectly honest, but I thought it would be great with Make Good Grow inside it as well. So it wasn't that strategic, Dan.
It's fun, and obviously Mill Street, for those that are from around this area, would know that it's got a very well-known reputation. It's buzzing, it's full, it's a great place. My wife now has got a workspace here, so it's a very, very active community. And talking of which, you just shared something recently about the Boss operating system. We didn't speak about this in advance, but I'll put you in the limelight, Nigel. At the event of mine that you're speaking at coming up in December, I want to touch on that, because you've got a unique view about how businesses should operate, how they should function, and what's going to be best for them. Could you could you speak a little bit to, or what you might talk about, or could you speak about the Boss system on what that is?
Yeah, Dan, it came about from the fact that over the 20 years of running Rant and Rave, there were lots of experience of accelerator style programs that I thought weren't very good. In fact, they certainly decelerated our business. And I think in general, if I would be skeptical, they do decelerate. They don't deliver on the promise. And invariably they run, in my opinion, this is going to be fairly topical, but and disruptive. I don't think they're run by entrepreneurs. So I once said, I think what the world needs is an accelerator, and let's call it a toolkit rather than a program, because I don't think a program where it has a start and an end and you come out and you graduate is what entrepreneurs need. They have specific needs at specific times that need specific resources for, and they don't need the sheep dip of module 1, module 2, mentor 1, mentor 2. It's not as linear as that. It's more specific and it's faster paced. So I just said, let's create one, and we'll call it the Business Operating System for Success, BOSS. And I got some £50,000 worth of funding from Warwickshire County Council, and we're just running a pilot right now. And we've already, we launched it last week, and we've already had 35 companies through the program that have taken a diagnostic. So we've got some signposts of, okay, you need help in these 3 areas. Right, let's start some introductions and point you at resources and events. And so far so good. We've got an entrepreneur in training as part of the funding. We recruited Jamie Langton, and he's doing phenomenally well. We've got sort of high hopes for it. And people like yourself are really important in the mix, because part of it, the performance camp bit of it, which is the sort of crescendo, is masterclasses in and around what I think are the 4 areas that businesses need some help with. Leadership, and leadership is not just leading the team, but it's sort of leading yourself, controlling your own emotions and having your own focus and how you deliver and turn up every day. So leadership, branding, how you message yourself out into the world, run, which is just how you run a tidy ship, have alignment with the team, have accountability, perform well, have that clarity of what we're all trying to do, and then grow, which is all about scaling and exiting. And that's where we've got some great experts, including yourself, on that last area. And we're looking to run those in November. So yeah, I'm excited. They're the things I like to get involved in. I think I can add some value. I've been there, so I understand and empathise with the journey some of the entrepreneurs are taking, and I've seen some of these programs fail or and fail to turn up. So yeah, we're quite optimistic.
Yeah, well, I enjoy it, and I love everything you do down here in Mill Street, and that's why I'm delighted you are speaking at our next event coming up on the 3rd and 4th of December. For those listening to this or watching this video, look at the link around and you can find out more information about that event, because I believe that if you want to build your personal wealth, the best way or the most direct way is through running your own business. And obviously you've mastered that one, and we're hoping to get some more bits of wisdom from you.
Thanks, Dan.
In December. So
yeah,
thanks,
look forward to it. Thanks, Dan.